When we come into contact with a trigger, it leads to a thought about using. And as this thought continues, craving sets in. If we stay in the situation or move toward the drug, the craving gets stronger. At some point, the craving takes control and we do whatever it takes to get more meth.
Whenever I had a craving, I thought, that's it. I've got the craving. There's just nothing I can do. I'm an addict. I have cravings. I have to use.
When I crave meth, I gotta go. I need it.
It's like a firecracker going off. It's that quick. I mean, it doesn't come at me slow. I don't see it coming. It's just, I'm sitting here talking to you now, and I might walk out the door and it'll be on me.
Parts of our brain tell us when to take action and when to hold back. For example, if we see a new car we really want, the lower brain tells us, buy it. But the upper brain asks, can you really afford this? When our brains are healthy, the upper and lower brains communicate to help us make good decisions. Meth makes the lower brain really strong. A trigger produces an intense go response to use. On top of that, the upper brain has been weakened. It's as if we've lost our brakes and our impulse to use is speeding out of control.
Now that I have this reason that makes sense. Okay, this is upper, this is lower brain. You know, and not just, oh, this is lower brain, it's not my fault. You know, I'm an addict, it's not my fault. But to be able to say, I see what's happening, let me stop it before it gets out of control.
Just because I have a craving, I can breathe, I can work through it. There are people I can talk to.
So now we know it's possible to manage our cravings. And when we do, they gradually get less intense. It helps to take it one day at a time.
They say the first 60 days is just for the cloud to lift. It really is just for the cloud to lift, just for you to be able to speak and think.
I'd like to talk a little bit about the stages of recovery so that you kind of have a roadmap for what to expect depending on where you are at this point in time. And the first stage, obviously, is the withdrawal stage.
Every day, I was depressed. The first 7 days, I wanted to go and get some more. I wanted to go out and smoke.
You don't want to do anything. You know, you're just in a state where you're not sure what's going on and nothing sounds fun and you'd just rather sleep.
I was just so depressed with what I've done with my life and I was just dragged through the day.
In the first stage of recovery, withdrawal, we feel exhausted and low. Our brains have less dopamine and fewer receptors and transporters, making it difficult to function. After withdrawal, there's a stage of recovery in which people often feel a lack of pleasure. Some call it hitting the wall. Feeling good without meth takes time.
I had been going to the dances, had all the new friends, everything was great. I got an apartment and I just slept. I just went into this funk where I just wanted to sleep.
Sometimes cravings come back. Sometimes you're really tired, you can't get out of bed, you really feel angry.
We know that meth affects the reward center of the brain by draining our dopamine supply. Activities that used to be fun and give us joy now disappoint us because they seem to lack the spark of life. Even after we stop using, this part of the brain takes time to heal, but it does recover.
Because this can happen rather quickly, it can really knock you off your game. And if you haven't relapsed up to now, this is actually the most common time for relapsing, which usually happens around 45 or 60 days into your recovery.
I relapsed 2 months after I started the program. And that was because those first 2 months were really hard for me.
In this stage, we find it difficult to think clearly and focus. Sometimes it feels like we'll be stuck here forever, and we may think, if this is sobriety, forget it. That's why relapse is common here.
I started to question whether I could really do it, whether I was ever going to get to the point where I would really feel normal again, whatever normal was.
In early recovery, many of us have trouble feeling pleasure. But if we can get through all this, it shows that our brain is healing.
It still took me about 4 or 5 months to feel happy. Everything downtown was always black and white to me. At the rehab I was in, we had a 24-hour pass. And when we got off the freeway and I saw downtown, it was all in color.
I was for a year clean, and then all of a sudden I just found myself back on methamphetamine. I didn't run away from the problem, you know. I stayed in the program. I paid the consequences of my relapse and all that, but I don't want to give up the search for this recovery thing.
Every single time you went back, you got more time. So that means that all the while that you were relapsing and probably thinking that you were failing, and I'm not recommending that relapse as a technique to get better, you were getting better and you were learning more each time.
I felt that after that relapse, something had changed, that I was becoming a new person, you know, that I was starting to feel ashamed of my behavior, and that I could do something to change it.
As hard as it is to get through this wall stage, it's a good sign because it means that you're on track. It actually means that your brain is healing.
When we start using, we don't understand the consequences. We want to feel good, gain energy, lose weight. Before we know it, damage has been done. The good news is that if we stop using, our brains heal and life begins to feel good again. Here at the cellular level, damaged receptors and transporters regrow over a 6 to 12-month period. These scans actually show the healing process. The red areas show our brain regenerating over time. Our transporters are working again, our dopamine levels are rising, and life's possibilities return.
I wasn't ready before, but now I want it. I want it so bad. I crave my recovery.
My outlook on recovery is that anything is possible.
Simple things give me immeasurable pleasure now, and I don't want to ever lose that.
Last night when I felt like using, and then I woke up this morning and I was still clean. That gives me a lot of hope.
I've been able to stay clean for over a year and a half.
I'm not just existing in life, I'm living.
I have to be vigilant forever, but I'm confident that that switch will never be turned on again.
I'm able to sit down and teach my daughter her ABCs. It's called patience, and I didn't have it before, and I have it today.
I set goals, and today I accomplished them.
It was really important to realize that I had something to offer. That all the things that I've been through, all the experiences, all the addiction, everything that I went through was for a reason and a purpose. And it was so that I could be who I am today. Because I look in the mirror today and I think, you rock, you know? So I'm really happy with who I am today. And so I wouldn't trade that for anything.